Good afternoon, ITB family. Hello, everybody that's joining in live from across the country, across the world. We're here today. It's me, your Chief Strategy Officer, Christian Johnson. We're here today with another Tuesday client highlight. And today we have Mr. Tony Jones. He is the CEO and founder of Amateur Sports Company. And we're going to let him do his introduction here in a minute, but I just want to welcome everybody in. And Mr. Tony, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
All right, Christian, I appreciate it. As Christian said, I'm Tony Jones, originally from Florida, founder, owner of Amateur Sports Company, which is a sports development company. And what we do array of different things, everything dealing pretty much with sports, but everything that we do has to do with development from basketball leagues, flag football, to training, travel basketball. Everything we do is centered around training. So unlike other programs, we do want to win, but our main thing is making sure that the kids get an opportunity to get development, which is lacking tremendously, and have fun at the same time. But like I said, the biggest thing is sports development and the kids have fun.
I think we had also another person hop in. I got Coach Rob who just popped in. You know Coach Rob, right?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
How you doing? My name is, I don't know.
I'm fine. Hey, how you doing? I know Coach Tony. I've coached with him. Great guy, and he's worked with my son as well.
Okay. Introduce yourself, Coach.
Right.
I'm Coach Rob. I'm just a dad who likes basketball. Me and Coach Tony coached together at a foundation for a couple of junior NBA leagues. I've learned a lot from him. He's taught me a lot. And he's been watching my son, I guess, gracious, for a long time now, since like from where he started to where he is now. So he's been a big inspiration in my son's life, and he always tries to include me and my family in the things that he do. So big shout to him, and I try to support him as much as I can.
And so I appreciate that, Coach. Thank you a lot. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And then Coach all the time. He mentioned his son Jacob. Yeah, Jacob first came, but he has come a long ways. He has definitely come a long ways. So I'm glad to see his growth. And he's just look out for Mr. Jacob in the coming years. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. No problem. You're welcome.
I didn't know that Coach Rob was going on, so that's actually a good intro into the segment. You have clients we work with as a client of ours. So since you're on, Coach Rob, and Coach Tony, I want you to talk about as a client and as a coach, both of you coach together. What is your relationship with the athletes? What do you do differently? And how your coach style, how do you coach differently than any other company that's yours?
Okay, Christian, one more time before I'm getting out some feedback.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback from my end, and I'm not sure where that's coming. But my question was, let me know about how your coaching style is different from any other. I don't know if it is an echo. Somebody just told me it's an echo. So I don't know if either one of you might have another device or something that might be near it or near the computer.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let me check.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself right quick and see. Oh, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, yeah, I don't hear it anymore. Okay, Christian, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
No, so I was saying, I hear it again, but it's fine. I'm gonna mute myself when I'm done asking my question. But my question was, explain to me and talk to me about how your coaching style at Amateur Sports Company is different from other companies that might be similar to yours, because there's a lot of developmental companies and foundations that a lot of young athletes might work with. But explain to me how your organization is different and your coaching style, how it's different in your approach.
All right, I appreciate that. That's a fantastic question. My approach is different. It's that I want to find out where the kid themselves are, and I bring the coaching down to their level, because the first thing that we want to do is develop their confidence. The sports part is good, but once you get a kid confident in what they're doing, they obtain some sort of success, it pretty much takes over from there. You won't have to really worry about trying to force a kid to come and work out or put in extra work, because they've saw and tasted success and they're motivated themselves. So the key thing that I do is build their confidence. I do get on them, but at the same time too, I also build them up as well. And I think that's the real key thing, is to show them success. People now want results. So once they, like I said, taste that results, it pretty much takes over from there.
I think somebody else might have popped in here. I'm assuming this is your team, Coach Tony. I'm assuming you got a team of folks hopping on, and I want to get a good. So okay, well, when as I think it's Miss Jones, April Jones is hopping on as well. So your coaching style is a little bit different. You from my experience, you kind of work with the youth in a more developmental stage, and you work on them more of the focus on the basics and the fundamentals. For example, you work with us, and with Julian, my nephew, you work with him, and you work on just the straight basics: shooting, how to shoot, dribbling with your left hand and your right hand, bringing up the layup, shooting it off your left hand as well. Pretty much, and as you know, you help and coach us with me and Charnay's little league team, and as you can tell with kids, they have to start with the basics. It's the basics is where they start, and so that's what it sounds like you were saying about Amateur Sports Company, that you focus on the basics, and you might not be going after type of athletes that are what I'm gonna go football terms, 5-star athletes. You might be going after athletes that might have been shut out from different teams, but still are capable, just as capable of performing to the best standard, of course. So I think Miss April and Coach Rob are on here. I want Miss April to introduce herself if she's on and talk up if she's on with Amateur Sports as well, if she's there.
Hello, I'm here.
Hello, Miss Jones. Please introduce yourself and introduce yourself on the team as with Amateur Sports. And I'm Christian within the beginning, of course. I'm the host, so please introduce yourself.
Oh, nice to meet you, Christian. Hello, everyone. I am just here to support Tony. He is. We are cordial exes. So this is my ex-husband, but I fully support what he's trying, what he's doing, and he is an excellent coach. And Amateur Sports Company is a really, really, really good program. He's seen a lot of progress. So I just wanted to hop on here and support.
That's no problem. So what I'm gonna do
All
is
right.
I'm actually going to I'm a remove everybody, and if you are watching, you can watch from the Facebook page and the Instagram page. I know Coach Tony must have sent out the link, and that was the link for them to watch, but this was the link for them to get on and actually get on your link. That was
Okay.
that was the stream key for you to get on. But they can still watch it here, of course. But it's streaming on our Instagram, our Facebook, and our YouTube page. So you can watch it on any of those other platforms as well. But since they're on here, they can listen and we can keep moving forward. So those, of course, that I think that speaks to you as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. You have support. You have community support. You already had a testimonial from a parent and a coach that you coach with that's on here. Like, I don't know what else I could honestly say about that. You got somebody on here that actually hopped on to support you, and that's like a little advertisement you got going on.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about I got another. I'm gonna of course talk about ITB and your relationship with ITB. So tell us about your relationship with ITB and how you work with ITB, how you work with me and Ms. Johnson and our team, and how we've been helping you move forward.
Yeah. And it was funny how it came about. It was actually through another person. But hey, however it works, it works. But yes, it's been a really good experience. Christian mentioned earlier that I got an opportunity to work with a group of kids, which uh, Miss Charnay and himself coaches, and they gave me the opportunity to come out and work with them. And through that, that has possibly opened some huge doors for me here in the near future. So I definitely appreciate that. Miss Johnson, she's on you. She makes sure that she helped me set up a board meeting. Had some tremendous people show up. Something needs to be in, you better believe you're gonna get a phone call or email from either Miss Charday or Miss Johnson or even Christian. They're gonna make sure that you're gonna get the information that you need in. Like I said, it's still early, so we're still working on some other things. Like I'll be working with Christian to help me better my website and just work on the social media part because I'm awful when it comes to social media. So that's a opportunity that they offer as well, and it's just been good so far. And I'm looking forward to more and more opportunities. They're very original, and if you're trying to put yourself in a position where you want to be more professional, definitely give them a call. Definitely give them a call.
So thank you, Coach Tony. You're one of many clients that we have. Last week we had Mr. Watson on, and he talked about his product, and every week this month is really we're doing client highlights. So all the clients that we work with is they come on and they talk about their businesses and they talk about what they do and how they work with us. So again, I'm happy that you actually had Coach Rob come on and Miss Jones come on as well to show that you have support. And that typically, and if I don't know if any of you watched last week with Mr. Watson and his business, but he created a product that for shower stools and for individuals who are disabled and handicapped individuals. And one of his issues was one of his main issues was support. He had an idea, but nobody would support him. Nobody would advocate for him. And when he came to us, we just, of course, we took him in. Same way we took you in, same way you got an idea, we can help you. Here's how we can help you. That's how we work, and we work with everybody the same way. And hands up, he said hands up. That's him in the comments saying hands up. But we got people commenting and asking questions. And but we'll get to that. So but let me go back to you in the amateur sports company, Mr. Jones. So I know you recently did something, was it on channel 8 or channel 12? And you were talking about the women's flag football. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about the sport, because we have a lot of women that work in the incubator, and a lot of women who love sports, of course. And so, talk to us about the women's football program and what you're doing with that, and your partnerships that you have with that with women's flag football.
Okay. Yeah. NFL flag, or just flag in general, it's one of the fastest growing sport, especially among women and girls. For years, you wouldn't believe it that there are a lot of females that really enjoy football, watching football, but more so uh, enjoy playing. And there was not really an opportunity because people look down on it. Oh, she's a girl. She wants to play football. Oh, that's negative. That has definitely changed now. Flag football amongst girls has grown 63% in the last 2 or 3 years. It's now become an Olympic sport, and it's now becoming a sanctioned sport where uh, high schools are starting to implement it into their sporting program, and also colleges are starting to create teams for their colleges and giving scholarships out, which is something a lot of people don't know, especially in Florida. Michael Vick's daughter, she just got a scholarship to play flag football quarterback in Florida. It's huge in Florida right now because it's a sanctioned sport in Florida. And what we're trying to do is lead the initiative to have it done here in Virginia as well. I think there's about 16 to 18 other states, North Carolina included, has sanctioned. And when I say sanctioned, made it a sport that all high schools basically can implement it and make it a sport where you can compete for championships, things at that level. So what we're currently doing or have done is that we didn't want to just jump out there. We wanted to kind of engage and see if there was an interest for girls flag football here in Richmond. So what we started doing is doing mini camps, hour and a half, 2 hour camps where the young ladies would come out and we'd teach them some of the rules, work on some of the positions and skills. And when we first started out, it's new here to Richmond, so we had 5 girls showed up. Me as a coach and being passionate, these parents took their time and brought their young ladies out there. So I approached that just like I would if we had 1,000 girls out there. We even included the moms, and it ended up being pretty successful. The next one we did, we increased. We had 10 girls come out. Same thing. It did well. The third one that we did, we had 22 girls. And the latest one we did, I think we dropped down to about 10 girls. So with the weather being the way it's been, we hadn't been able to do any clinics, but we're looking hopefully start in March to do some clinics and put a full season together because I want to create a tournament team where we can actually compete regionally. And if you win regionally, you can actually be invited as a lot of teams did in July to go to the Super Bowl to play in the championship there in the Super Bowl or in Orlando. So all girls flag football it's growing. It's a high school sport, but there's really no organization. I think it's one other organization that's trying, just like I am, to really cater to middle school and high school young ladies.
So I know
So
you
very
also, I think you also had mentioned that flag football for, I think maybe unisex, or I don't know if it's just men's, but it's in the Olympics now. It's an Olympic sport.
It is. It is. That just happened this year. So that's something else we're going to be implementing all in with the flow. Don't get me wrong. I will be catering to the guys as well. But right now, that has been done so much that the girls have not really gotten a lot of attention. So that's where my primary focus is right now. I do have relationships, like I said, with the NFL, with the Olympic committee. We're trying to reach out and find out how what the process works there, the evaluation. So sometimes they'll be able to hopefully here in Richmond, we get them to come here in Richmond and not somewhere close by where those who are really serious about competing in flag football, all women, all female flag football, would get an opportunity to perform in front of the evaluators for the Olympics, even though it's 2028, that'll be here before you know it. So we're trying to bring all that here to Richmond. But the only way that we can do that is that these young ladies, they got to start coming out when we put these events on. If you don't come out, then it's going to be like it always has. They're assuming that you're not interested. So if you know any young ladies, or if you're a young lady watching right now, make sure you go to my website, which is www.f-asc.com, and I have posted and updates on when our next clinics or camps are coming up. So make sure you check it out, and when you see those opportunities, make sure you come out because eventually Richmond is moving a little slow when it comes to new stuff. Eventually, hopefully, they'll catch on here soon, and we can help push that faster and make it a sanctioned sport. And where to be in your high schools and elementary schools. So we're working on that. But until then, you have to come out. And when you see opportunities like that, come out and support those efforts to show that there is interest in this area for something like that.
Yeah, and for sure, because from my experience in women's flag football, it's only been powder puff games, and
Right.
like in high school homecoming week and you got the powder puff game. But those girls play and they play for real. Sometimes they even be tackling each other. And I
Yeah.
know of some individuals also who there's a lot of tackle teams as well. Do you so for our viewers watching to understand which areas you work in, because you in my opinion work in sports that are not traditional sports. Of course, basketball is a traditional for as far as American, that's a sport, but women's flag football, that's not very traditional because most people, that's what girls we know don't play um,
Mm.
football. But are there any other sports that you would maybe consider that are non-traditional that you work with, that individuals in those sports that you might not work with, that you might work with?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. Great question. Believe it or not, wiffle ball, it's becoming very popular. So that's something that we're looking to bring as well. Wiffle ball. The good thing about wiffle ball, if you like baseball, like softball, you can still perform the same movements and competition as you would in baseball or softball, but you're not in danger of getting hurt because the ball is not hard, the bat is not hard. So
Mhm.
wiffle ball is something that anybody at any age can actually participate. Just like it's an alternative to as pickleball is to tennis. A little bit safer, same concept. So wiffle ball is something that we're looking to do. Kickball. So we're looking to bring in different sports. But everything again is all centered around development, not to change directions too much, but even with the traditional sports. And hopefully we get an opportunity to talk about how the college portal, NIL has definitely changed the game. We'll hopefully get an opportunity to talk about that as well.
We
But
are.
development,
We
skill development. All right, good, great, great.
are.
Skill development is what is needed. Um, what I've noticed here, especially here in Richmond, when it comes to AU and travel ball, how can I, for a lack and not to sound mean, but a lot of parents are the reason that a lot of these kids are not successful in that particular sport because they get caught up in the flash, the name, this
Oh,
team
don't
here,
even
this team
start.
here,
Don't even start.
and, and
You
might
shaking
start
the
stepping on
room. You
some
shaking
toes, but
the room.
yeah, yeah, just being honest with you. And they're not looking at the fact that okay, yeah, your kid got the nice uniform, et cetera, but you just paid all this money, and little Tommy is sitting on the bench the whole time. You're having to travel across the country. Little Tommy may get 1 or 2 minutes in, and you go through all that sacrifice, and little Tommy still is, or Jill is no better than they were when they first started with the program. Me, honestly, I hated AAU until I really did some more research about the intent of AAU. The intent of it is great, fantastic. But some organizations, uh, shoe companies got involved in it, and money got involved. And once that happens, it just changed the whole outcome, the whole approach of AAU. And now you have a lot of organizations popping up doing what we call as money grabbers. They're not worried about whether the kids get developed or the parents get what they paid for. But some of you parents still buy into that. Y'all let some of these coaches talk you in joining that program, even though Tommy's not ready. Tommy can't dribble, but you're still paying 2,500, all this irate amount of money for basically him to wear a uniform, and then you get upset because they don't get any playing time. So that's why I really kind of created amateur sports company. I started out with the junior NBA because it was basically for my kids because they wasn't getting a fair shot. Didn't really have a program that was really centered around uh, developing the kids. So I created that. That did really well. Got into some training. Um, think I did pretty decent with some of the kids. And
I'm telling you,
now
you
we're
did.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But
Definitely,
yeah, so I appreciate that. So now I'm actually getting into, I guess, travel ball. But as the title said, we're getting ready to change the whole travel ball outlook and approach for the betterment. And the way that we're doing that is the whole reason a lot of parents put their kids into travel ball is so that they can get exposure, get seen by college coaches. But
yeah,
here's the thing: a lot of these money grabbing organizations have you pay all this money to do all this traveling here, play all these games, and there's no guarantee that there's college coaches at these games that they have you go to all these tournaments. So what
exactly.
we're doing
People don't
is something.
recognize that that's relationships with the organization, like relations. All that is relationships. That's not just you can pay all this money, and like you said, you might pay all this money to have recruiters come expecting your son to get good looks or your daughter to get good looks. Whole time the organization you working with ain't been doing what they need to do to make sure your your kids are set. So like you
Exactly.
said, it's all of that is relationship building, and in a lot of spaces it is, growing up playing sports, you do run into a lot of people that are in it for the money because it's a lot. It's very
Mhm.
profitable. It's like a very profitable industry. There's a lot of money in it, and Coach Tony is so much. I wish I could tell you about our local
Exactly.
our local stuff that I can't. I'm not even gonna open up. But
I
it
understand.
is really, it's so much money in it, and people are willing to have their child be the next Steph Curry or the next
Yeah.
LeBron
Yes.
James or the next, the next, I don't know anybody, next Mike Vick, I don't know whoever it is. They think that because they pay all this money for
Hmm.
a name, and like you said, AAU was one of it because AAU for a lot of people have benefited. I know people who benefited from being in AAU, but I also know people who paid to be in AAU and they not doing anything with sports at all. They're not even
Yes.
coaching. So what was all that for? Just like you said, for their parents to live through their kids and pay all this money for them to be, oh, I'm gonna put my stuff on you, but no, you're doing the wrong, you're going about the wrong way. Before we start getting moving and deeper into the conversation, because I feel like this conversation is gonna be a real deep conversation, especially for individuals in our community. I'm gonna address some questions. Shout out some people. I know we got Mr. Watson in, Ms. Johnson's watching, Mr. Napier. But we got a quick question from Miss Ellen Harrison. She asks, hello, is Amateur Sports Company open to students with disabilities?
Miss Harrison, that is a fantastic question. It honestly depends on the ability of the student. Like I said, with me, I can customize things. If a student can dribble or based on the limitations or whatever the student can do, we can make the adjustment. Because the key thing, like I said, is to build that student's confidence first. We can do that, then we can make adjustments for whatever physical parts of the training or what have you that needs to be done. That is a fantastic question. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think we had this
I am
one.
very open to that.
This next one wasn't a question, but this was a individual who watched. He's been watching our webinars. His name is Maine Napier. I don't know. You might not know. I don't know. But he said, "Holla at me, coach." He works with let me see, Chesterfield. He said, he just did some Chesterfield quarterback league. I don't know if this is somebody that you might want to get in contact with. He put his information in here. I'll get that link to you afterwards, but I'll make sure that you get in contact with him. He said he's worked in Chesterfield. In Chesterfield, it's all elementary schools, south side, over 3,000 kids. So you already know with us, and we've been talking with getting you into the Jacobs Association as a trainer.
Okay.
So I think he might have some other tap in, because you might not think, but it's a lot. It's a very small world. And what we're finding out, it is a generational type of Richmond is very, and I know from your experience coming from Florida to Virginia was a shock. It was a culture shock, because and Richmond specifically is very cliquish. We're not gonna pretend like it's not cliques that this very cliquish. So we told you. So once you're in. And once you get in, and once you have built up a rapport with individuals, you're pretty much in. It's like that across the board. Even in sports, it's especially in sports, it's like that. Especially in sports, it's like that. Coach Perk is on here.
Coach Napier. I appreciate that, and I'm definitely gonna get with you on that. I definitely appreciate that, because it's needed, especially at the elementary school level. And one of the things that I really stand by is that I don't want coaches to feel threatened. I'm actually a coach's friend, because once you get into the competition and actually start the season, coaches do not have time to try to develop the kids at that time. So that's where we come in. We take that off of the coaches. That's why you have the summer, the programs for teach these kids how to dribble, how to do layups and things of that nature. So when the season starts, you can do what you're volunteered to do or paid to do, which is to teach these kids how to win. Like I said, my biggest thing, I am a coach's friend. Utilize us.
Yeah, because most coaches are not. They don't have the time in their schedule, because they got games back to back every weekend, sometimes during the week. They don't have the time to sit and actually go over the fundamentals. That's where that's where you come in. Amateur sports comes in, where you have the time to go over. Here's how we dribble. You have the time to. Here's how we get the fundamentals, because we played a team on Saturday, and their fundamental, one kid, 8 points in the first quarter. One kid, because he got the fast breaks. He had the easy fundamentals with the fast breaks and the layups. Easy points. he knew
Yep.
he was fundamentally sound and he knew what he was doing. And they played like that. And it's like most people don't think, like most people think you got to be the bigger, the stronger guy. In some cases, it is it's the physicality, but in most cases, it's just
Mm-hmm.
the mindset, the IQ, and actually the fundamentals, and not being all
Yep.
wild. You don't when
Yep.
when you tackle somebody or when you in a position, it's a certain way to be there. It's a certain way to tackle somebody. It's a certain way to do certain things. It's a certain way to stand. It's a certain way to catch the ball. It's in any
Mm-hmm.
sport. So
Yep.
he
Yep.
also said he did a tackle team last year. So he said that the women's football is growing. Um, so let me get into,
Mm-hmm.
and we got other questions,
Yep.
but I'm gonna come back to them. But you had tapped on to something
Okay.
earlier in the conversation that I want to talk about, especially for young men and young women that are post high school or in high school that might be running into some NIL issues and the real money issues when you start getting the real money talk. So, on your perspective, give us your perspective of this new NIL um, that's opened up in the recent years. Even though people want to say it's NIL, a lot of colleges have been doing NIL for some time. It's just legal to do it,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but tell us your perspective on NIL and how you might prepare an athlete who is in high school and is college shopping, or colleges are shopping for them, and things they might run into in
Yeah.
NIL.
Yeah. It first of all, NIL stands for, I'll make sure I get it right. Name, image, and likeness.
Yes, exactly.
Prior to that, yeah, colleges could uh, take a jersey with the number that you were wearing and sell it, and athletes wouldn't get anything off of it. All that has changed now. People used to say that, okay, basketball, you can't make a living basketball unless you make the NBA. That has totally changed now. Just like high school kids would study to try to get accepted into a college for being a doctor, et cetera, you can now do that with sports. A I received a text that was sent out in general about VCU. An average basketball player for just being on the basketball team for VCU, which is right here, will make $384,000 a year playing basketball because of this NIL thing. Playing basketball for 1 year, and that's an average. That's VCU. That's not talking about how much they can make at UVA or some of the bigger schools. That's just from the school. That's not counting on commercials. You probably see some of the VCU players in commercials. That stuff is separate. So this NIL deal to me is fantastic. I say take advantage of it now while they're still trying to figure out other rules for it. Take advantage of it now while they're still trying to figure things out. You could make 380 something $1,000 for being on a basketball team. That's what the NIL has done.
Yeah,
Another thing about the NIL to me, what a lot of people are not thinking about is that you have to now start working on your image. Nobody's
exactly.
gonna want to give you in the business, gonna give you any kind of deals if you're staying in trouble at school all the time. Your grades are bad, things of that nature. So to me, if you look at it from a business perspective, as a high school kid, this should be an incentive for you. You want to do the right things anyway and not act up. But this should be even a more incentive to be make yourself marketable. All
Exactly.
right, so that's on the NIL. But the good thing about it, you got a up and coming professional right here, Christian, who's about to uh, dig into
Yeah,
that, and that's another reason why I'm glad I'm working with the organization as well because um, we're about to do some things about to open up.
yeah. For
How it's
sure.
to, and we're getting to the portal, but I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk a little bit more about the NIL, and then I want to talk a little bit about the portal, how important
That is
fundamentals
another. That is
are
another.
going to be for the portal.
Yeah. So like Coach Tony said, for individuals who are watching and might not know, NIL is pretty much stands for name, image, and likeness, um, what I said earlier, colleges have been kind of doing it. The only difference is now they have to pay their athletes. In the past, there might have been issues where they might have done a school might have done something under the table where they'll say, "Oh, you come play for us. We'll give you this, that we'll slide on the table. We get this, we'll get you that, we'll get you this, and we'll do that." But now it is legal and it has to be tracked. It has to be tracked. You athletes with, like you said, with jerseys, you have a jersey with your name on it or your number on it. You got to get paid for that. You know, that opens the door for players to have more of a say in decision making. And it's not like, because these schools, and gosh, I can't stand the SEC. So I can't. The SEC get on my nerves. One, the SEC historically has not been uplifting for our people that look like us. You know, everybody be like, Roll Tide. I'd be like, no, I'm not Roll Tide. I'm not Roll Tide. But historically, they haven't been supportive of people that look like us. But now with NIL, athletes that look like us have more of a say, and they can negotiate how much they're actually worth. Because you got to think about it. These universities are getting millions of dollars off of these athletes. They're selling out stadiums packed with hundreds of thousands of people. Like, I went to West Virginia University. I mean, Geno Smith, you know, they got people that are coming from these schools that are playing in the NFL and are making they're bringing the school revenue. And now players are able to actually negotiate their terms, not only as far as scholarships, because scholarships you can get paid for, you can get your tuition covered, but now athletes can make money off of, you know, ticket sales and their jersey sales, and make sponsors and actually have other companies sponsor them and pay for them and pay for something or pay for their pretty much their image. And that's why you said it's important to have, as an athlete, to have a good image. That's why we work with another organization that does suits. They do suits for athletic built men. And he was approached by a university to come in and do the alumni. He wanted to get suits for the alumni. He wanted it all. I'm not going to name the school, but he wanted all. And it was a big school in Virginia. They wanted all the suits to be designed with their logo on it, and in their in their, not their colors specifically, but suits that their alumni and their student athletes could wear. So anytime you're making business decisions, going to business meetings, you know, you gotta have a suit. I know at West Virginia, they teach it. It's ingrained in the athletes. On the field, it's one thing. Off the field, you're doing community service. You're in the community and you're doing things. You're helping out, or might be giving turkeys out. Bless you. You might be giving turkeys out. You might be doing something, and your image looks good. You're not only an athlete, but you're also a community leader. And I don't know if any of you play NCAA, but all those players that are in NCAA, I played all the time. All the players that are named in it, they got a copy of the game and $500 for being in the game. Prior to NIL, they won't get nothing. They was just happy to be in the game. I'm playing as myself in the game. No, but now the rhetoric is changing. I've also heard talking about and it's different for every conference, because different conferences have certain revenue that they bring in, but the big conferences like the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, they're breaking in money off of these athletes, and now they have an opportunity. And another thing that I heard somebody mention is, I don't know if this is set in place yet, but I also do believe there needs to be a student athletes union developed. There's a union in the NBA, and you hear about Chris Paul, and he's like the union leader for the NBA, but I also feel like there needs to be a union developed for college athletes in sports because they need to know what can be done and how to do it. They need to know what they actually have as a student, but also as an athlete, because you're putting yourself on the line. You're putting yourself out there. So I digress to say all that. It's a lot that we could go into, but now talk about the let's get into the transfer portal and and people saying he's Mr. Napier signing the NIL agents. That's what hey, what we working on? What are we working on here? I work with the bank, a bank. I work with Call Federal, and I was telling him the same conversation. Sometimes I'm like, I know so many people that are getting money, that are signing contracts, that are still in high school.
Yep.
They're still in high school, signing contracts to go play for college. They got hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses and I'm sorry, bonuses and everything, and they ain't even stepped foot on the court yet.
Nope. All about that image.
They negotiate that image, and then not only just the image, how they play. It's just they also how they play and how well they play. This is what these schools are looking at, and it's opened up so broad, and it's opened up because the transfer portal, like we're about to get into. So, talk about the transfer portal and how that has also changed the game up across all sports. How that's changed the game up for universities and institutions looking for players and actually offering them these deals.
Yep. As Christian said, with the transfer portal, basically it is exactly what it says. It allows a college athlete to transfer from whatever school they're in to anywhere else they want to go if they accept it. And there's no delay in it. It used to be that they would have to wait a year or so before they can transfer. Not anymore. So as a coach with a limited budget, and I'm under pressure to win, as to like this is the case for all college coaches or coaches period in general. Why would I go and try to recruit a high school kid unless they're absolutely phenomenal when I can go to the transfer portal and get a kid who's already been in college and has college experience, and I don't have to go through the process of teaching them how to be a college athlete? This, in a way, is going to hurt a lot of high school kids unless this is where we come in. You're fundamentally sound, and you're just a tremendous player. What can overcome that if you're not just that big time standout player? Is that you're fundamentally sound. I always teach a lot of the athletes that I work with. Yeah, you want to be a phenomenal player athlete, but the key thing is you want to be a player of value, meaning that you want to bring some type of value to that team that the coach can't really just get easily. This is why you have like some players who can't shoot a lick in the NBA, making a lot of money, but they can rebound. And that's what that team needs, a rebounder.
Rebound.
That is a player of value because they bring that value for that team. Being fundamentally sound, yep, being fundamentally sound puts you in that position. This transfer portal, if your kid is not that or just an absolutely standout athlete, scholarships. Especially everybody wants their kid to go Division I, etc. It's nothing wrong with Division II. There's nothing wrong with Division III or what have you. If you're that good, they're going to find you if you want to play professionally. The thing is, just get your foot in the door. Become a player of value. Dennis Rodman didn't go to Division I. Hall of Fame. Why? Defensive rebounding. Right here, Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace wasn't a super scorer, but he's an NBA champion, multi-millionaire. He was a player of value. So having the fundamentals is what we teach. Can put players in that position. Not everybody has to go to the NBA to make a good living. There's overseas, and now with the transfer portal, you can go to college for a couple years and make good money, life changing money. But you
Exactly.
have, yeah, but you have to have the fundamentals. You have to have the fundamentals. And it's not all about sports for me. So some kids don't want to do that. Some kids just want to play just to get better. My key thing is help these kids get the mental part right, the confidence, and then the skill part will come later. They may not want that, but at least they'll walk away with confidence, knowing that if I focus or put my mind to something, I can get something accomplished. That's the biggest thing that we want to do. Do we want to win with some of our programs? Yeah, but if we don't care about that. So that's the biggest thing for amateur sports. Like I said, we offer leagues, travel, flag, things that are centered around development. We also have an enrichment program where we'll come to your daycare, come to your elementary school, high school. We're not just limited to um, just just I guess for lack of better, your average athlete. If you think
Mhm.
you're an incredible standout athlete, even they need coaches. I don't care for them too much. LeBron has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach, and these are professionals are considered the best basketball players to play in the game. Everybody needs a coach, and that's what we do. Let us do that. You do what you need to do, and let us come in and do what we need to do.
Yep. So, Mr. Jones, we getting into the last few minutes of the webinar. I'm gonna look at these comments and one thing I'm gonna somebody asked a question. Mr. Cliff asked a question. He said, "My little one has type 1. She's is type 1 diabetic. Would she be able to participate in flag football?" I'm assuming. I think he's asking about flag football. Um,
Hmm.
Answer that question for us.
Yeah, we are open to any athletes. We have waivers signed, and as long as the parents are good with it and the athlete is good with it, I see no reason why not. And
Exactly.
we just monitor, just make us aware of it. We do our best to monitor it, but that actually may help with the diabetes, the exercising, and uh, building the confidence, things of that nature. So yeah, we're definitely open participation.
I also know with the back to the transfer portal, we had I'm talking West Virginia because that's I'm an alumni. We had one coach, our former basketball head coach Bob Huggins. He some coaches abuse the portal, and I feel like he abused it to the point where he got cursed. Like he he got players from like some of the best players across the country. They were when he that was like in 23 I think, got all these great guys on paper. Like on paper, you look at that class that he brought in from that transfer class. That was like one of the
Mm,
best transfer classes in the country.
mm,
Um, and they couldn't mesh. He ended up our head coach had a DUI, so he couldn't coach, and then they had to bring in another coach, interim coach. Even under the interim coach, she couldn't even get over that threshold. And there were so many legal issues with the transfer, with them transferring in. One of the players transferred in
mm-hmm,
from Arizona to West Virginia. He couldn't play half the season because of some issues with some money issues at Arizona. So a
mm,
judge in Arizona, something that was a legal battle in Arizona, held up him being able to play in his I wasn't his last season, but his season this past year, actually this season. Um, Injuries. He brought in all these players from the transfer portal again on paper, studs. Then they get injured. and then they out. So, some people, you got to do what you can. I do think it is important for coaches to bring in players, like you said, not from D1. We just had West Virginia just got a transfer from Virginia Union, a DB from Virginia Union, and Virginia Union's not a D1, but they recruited, and these coaches with these schools they have people everywhere. They have people that could tap into a lot of different places. So you never know. Like you said, all it takes is fundamentals and look good. Play your role, and you play your role well, because you never know who's looking, and you never know where you might be able to fit in on somebody else's team.
Exactly, and be coachable. Be coachable.
Be coachable. That's the most important piece. We tell it to Julian all the time. Don't argue back. And then it's the confidence as well. Like, be coachable and be confident, and don't argue back. Like, don't argue back. You don't know better than what we know. You don't know better than what we like. I don't play anymore, but I play sports all my life, pretty much most of my life, and I've dedicated a lot of my life to sports and playing all sports. So that's why this working with you is I'm really passionate about it, because I love sports, and I love. I've developed friendships and relationships with people, with some of my friends from playing football. They still see me be like, Ocho. I'm like, don't nobody call me. Y'all only call me Ocho from football. You don't call me Ocho from. Nobody today will call me that, but people who knew me from playing sports growing up, that's how they knew me. That's what they called me. So it's more than. And when you get to a certain point, you do make that decision based off of you just lose. For me, I just lost my love for football. I had bad coaches. It was playing daddy ball, and I thought I was fundamentally better than other kids and physically better. But these coaches are the dad. The dad is the coach, so they put their kids in, and I'm like, they've never even played football, so why are they in? But when you get to a point, you still take all of those lessons, all of the trainers that I had. They taught me lessons. They taught me things that I could apply on the field and off the field in everything that I do, whether it's in my career, whether it's in law, politics, and ITB. You do that on the field and off the field, and that's what you get working with Coach Coach Tony, and with amateur sports. You get those fundamentals. He teaches you the basics and everything that you can apply on the court or on the field, or off the court and off the court and off the field. So we got one more comment. Go through the rest of these comments. He said, if you're not getting your kids personal training, and you do personal training, which we had Coach Rob on here earlier, and say Coach Rob said earlier his son trains with Coach Tony. He's very happy with the training he gets with Coach Tony. We've trained with Coach Tony, and we're very happy with it. And again, I just wish we could get Julian with you more, but our schedule, of course.
I appreciate it. Yep, I appreciate it.
Yep. And then, but yeah, I'm gonna get you Mr. Napier's information. I'm gonna try to get it to you. Get these comments to you. You can get in contact with him. But we're about to close out. Coach Tony, you got any last things you want to say? I'm gonna put your contact information up for people that want to contact you. Put your website up here so you can give us your closeout, and then I'll close us out after.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, I thank you for the opportunity to come on. But the key thing is parents, fundamentals. I can't stress that enough. Don't get caught up in fluff. The coaches are always telling you, okay, your kid need this exposure. That's true. You do need exposure, but you don't have to pay $2,500 and do all this traveling all over the country for your kid to get exposure. One of the things, like I said briefly, that how we're changing the game, we're cutting the fluff out. We're getting to do a couple of local tournaments, but we're getting your kids in front of the coaches in tournaments that are called a live period is when the coach is going to be there, is get your kids in front of them 2 or 3 tournaments to get the exposure. That's it. Not playing all over the country, paying all this different money, getting caught up in the different shoot. That's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. They're taking your money. And just because coaches, the coaches, et cetera, whatever fits you is good. But fundamentals is what the kids need. I offer training. That's something you're interested in. My email, it's somewhere there. But yeah, there's my email. Shoot me an email. We can talk and see what I offer if it fits you. I don't want to waste your time. I don't waste my time. Not going to waste the kids' time because we're doing our sessions. The kids don't want to listen. I tell them quickly, no, you need to go home. No, we're not going to waste your time, your mom, your parents' money, or our time. So if they're there, they want to get the fundamentals. I'm your guide, coaches. Holler at me. Let me know. I can come in, do team training, take that off of you. And the game has changed. The game has changed. So your approach has to change as well. Great opportunity, NIL, portal. You got to have the fundamentals. Got to have them.
Exactly. And again,
And also, young ladies, y'all get with us. Flag football is here. Come on out. Let's get you in. It's fun. Great opportunities. NIL can be happening for the young ladies as well. It's about your image, creating a good image, even right now in high school. Right now, even in high school.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Mr. Jones, for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Again, I could sit and have this conversation with you for another 10 years.
I appreciate it. Me as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I definitely could, but we only got an hour. So I'm going to close this out. Thank you all for joining. We had a lot of people joining and commenting today. Thank you for joining, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the shares, the likes. If you want to rewatch this live, you can actually go on our YouTube. Our YouTube page is In the Beginning Incubator. You can follow us on Instagram, ITB_incubator, and on Facebook. It'll also be on our Facebook, In the Beginning Incubator and Fun. You'll be able to find this there as well. You can rewatch it. I'll send it to you, Mr. Jones, so you can repost it on anything that you want to post it or send it out to anybody. That is our website. You can visit us at inthebeginningcode.com. Set up a consultation. Give us a call. You give us a call at 804-468-8141, or you can email us at info@inthebeginningcode.com, and somebody will get to you within 24 to 48 hours. So again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Miss Ellen, for coming. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, Miss Johnson. Thank you, Mr. Napier, and everybody else watching, Mr. Rob, Miss Joan, everybody that was on tonight. We appreciate it. You all have a great night, and wherever you are, if you're on the East Coast or in Virginia, stay warm. You know it's icy and cold. Stay safe and keep on keeping on. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Christian.